Today, I would like to welcome you to the 5th video in a 6-part series which will show you the absolute best way to capture, edit, and then upload game clips to YouTube in the highest possible quality so they come out looking just like the clips from the professional YouTubers out there that we all enjoy watching so much. We'll be capturing game clips in 1080p, 60 FPS, both with and without chat recording, using a laptop and the Elgato HD60 capture card. I'll be showing you how to do a fast, high-quality edit and explaining which settings to use to render those game clips out in Sony Vegas, and then covering how to upload those same clips to YouTube using custom thumbnails, tags, descriptions, and the titles that you need for a professional result. In this 5th video, I'll be showing you how to use the Sony Vegas software, including the best render settings and editing techniques to use to get the best quality end result and preparation for uploading our videos to YouTube. Straight up, if you watch the 6-part series from start to finish, you're going to know everything you need to about game capturing, editing, and uploading with various setups to get some legit results. So stay locked, ask any questions or request tutorials in the comments below, crush that like button, and yeah, I hope it helps. What is currently happening YouTube? Facepalm here, your friend in Oz and NZ, bringing you reviews, tutorials, and game clips, minus the You can follow me on Twitter at Facepalm with a 1, not an L. As for here on YouTube, if you like what you find, then like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to bring your game face. Let's get it done. So in the first video, I ran through the lineup of every video in the series. Instead of going through that again, you can just click one of the links on the screen now to take you to the other videos, should you need them. I do recommend though that you watch these videos in order to get the most out of them, as the setups in the later videos rely on the setups in the videos that came before them. So let's get straight into part 5, editing game clips in Sony Vegas, best render settings and techniques 2016. For this video, I'll be using Sony Vegas 12, but if you have another version of Sony Vegas, the settings will be the same. These settings will also apply to programs like Adobe's Premiere Pro and After Effects, but the reason I use Sony Vegas 12 is I find it quicker and easier to get the result we're after. So the first thing that will make your life a whole lot easier when editing video is having your folders set up correctly so you can find shit when you need it. In case you want to replace files, move files, or especially when backing up your projects to store on another hard drive to keep safe and sound, which if you're not doing already, you should start doing. What I do before I start editing any video is create a folder with the name of the video I'm going to be making. In this case, I'll use my Surface Pro 3 versus Surface Pro 4 project as an example. And inside that folder, I'll create 3 folders: audio, video, and pics, and I'll drop all of my video project files inside these folders. So in my audio folder, I'll be saving all my voiceovers and audio files. In the video folder, I'll save all my game clips, screen captures, or video recordings, and in the pics folder will be all my graphics, text overlays, and any pictures that I use in my projects. If you want, inside these folders, you can create subfolders to keep things nice and clean. For instance, inside my audio folder, I also have a voice recordings folder, which has my voice recordings like this one. And in my pictures folder, I have a PSD folder, which has all my Photoshop projects in it, and a text folder, which has all my text overlays if I'm creating them inside Photoshop. It's up to you whether you do this or not, but trust me, this is one of the simplest things that you can do that will make everything easier later on. Once I've set these up, I'll open up Sony Vegas and go into the Project Media tab and set this up like I do the folders so I can find everything as I go. If it's not available here, go up to the View menu and select the Project Media option. The Project Media tab contains all of the media that you are using in your project. For example, our video, audio, pictures, and text overlays. So right-click on the Media Bins folder and create a new bin. A bin is just another word for a folder. Name this first bin Audio, do the same thing again and name the second bin Video, and go once more and name the third bin Pics. These will line up with the folders that we set up earlier. So now when we drop video files into our project, we'll drag them from the videos folder on our hard drive and drop them into the videos bin in our project. And do the same for audios and pics, obviously. This will make everything really easy to locate as we go, which is going to save us a lot of time. Now that we've done that, let's set up the properties of our Sony Vegas projects. So click on File and then go down and click on Properties. This window will pop up with a few tabs on it. The first tab is the Video tab. So to make this nice and simple, I want you to pause the video here and copy the settings in this window with the exception of the template drop-down menu, as this will sort itself out once you change the other settings. And also the pre-rendered files folder, as this will be slightly different on your computer, but it should still end in app data /local/Sony/Vegas Pro, and then the version of Sony Vegas you're using. As you can see here, I'm using Sony Vegas 12.0. The other one that may be different for you is the frame rate box. If you are using the Elgato HD60 and you have the allow 60 FPS box ticked in the Elgato software, which we set up in the previous videos, the Elgato software will be recording your game clips at 59.94 frames per second, which is double NTSC. So you would have this selected here. If in the Elgato software you don't have that allow 60 FPS box ticked, that means your HD60 is recording in 29.97 FPS. And you can go into this drop-down menu and select 29.970, which is the NTSC frame rate your Elgato software will be recording in. Once you've done that, come over to the audio tab and copy these settings also. The only one that may be different for you is the recorded files folder, where you can select a different location for your recorded files to be saved to if you're using Sony Vegas to record video or audio itself. But as we are using the Elgato software to record our videos and audio, you can leave this as it is. Make sure the start all new projects with these settings boxes are ticked on both this tab and on the video tab, and then you can leave the other tabs as they are and close it out of this window. Now let's come up to the options menu and go down to preferences. Go to the video tab, and here where it says dynamic RAM preview, we're going to set this to 10% of our max available RAM. Leave everything else as default and close this window down. There are other options that can be configured in these menus, but this is the only one that I change and everything works flawlessly. Once that is done, go up to File and then Save and browse to the location on your hard drive where we have our project folders located. Name your project and save it there. So if we go back out to that folder location on our hard drive, we can see the folders we set up and also our Sony Vegas project. The other thing that I highly recommend you do is name your files so that they are easy to identify. For example, if you have a quickscoping Fury Kill in Nuketown, then name it something like quickscoping Fury Kill Nuketown. When we are switching between clips while editing, which you will end up doing a lot, if you have the whole lot of files that are just a bunch of random names, this will really slow you down. So keep them named and life will be good. Now let's talk about editing. So in this section, I'm not going to show you how to use every feature in Sony Vegas, as that would take way too long. What I am going to do is give you the quickest overview ever, and then show you all the little tips and tricks I use that will help you edit faster and get a professional result at the end of the day. So in Sony Vegas, you'll see a handful of windows. You'll have your project media over here, which lets you find the media, i.e. your audio, videos, and pictures in your project. You can import media into your project by either selecting the folder you want to add media to and then dragging files from your desktop into the space, and it will be added to the folder you had selected. Or you can click this little import media button and select files from there. Just under that, you will see some tabs which you can use to add transitions, video effects, or extra media, like text, for example. If you can't see the tab here that you want, come up to this view menu and you can select that tab from there. To the right is a preview window where you will see your video previews. Then here is the master volume, and the bottom section will be your timeline. The timeline is where you drop your clips on to edit them. You can also grab any of these windows and either resize them like this or move them to a completely different location, or just leave them as a floating window, which is handy for multiple screen setups. So let's import a video clip into our project by using our import media button. So I'll grab this one here and select OK. Then we can drag and drop that clip down here onto our timeline, and I'll explain the first thing that is going to save you a lot of time while editing, and that is keyboard shortcuts. Seriously, get to know all of these, as they will speed up your workflow faster than anything else. So the one I use the most is the spacebar for starting and stopping my video playback. I'll also use the U key, which ungroups tracks. And what I mean by that is if we drop a clip onto our timeline that has video and audio, that video and audio audio will automatically be grouped, which means that if we move one, the other one's going to move with it. But what if we want to delete the audio or replace the audio and leave the video as it is? Well, I would hit the U key, and now I can move or even delete them separately. The other key is the G key, which adds those clips to a group. So if I have a handful of clips and they were all synced just how I want them, I would hold down the control key on my keyboard and click each clip until they were all selected. Or if they're all next to each other, you can just click the first one, hold the shift key, and then click the last one, and every clip in between will be selected. Then I would hit the G key. This will add all those clips to their own group. Now when I move one around, they all go with it, which keeps the whole lot in sync. The other shortcut I use a lot is the control and shift keys in combination with the mouse wheel. If you click on a point on the timeline and then roll the mouse wheel, the timeline will zoom in and out on wherever the mouse is pointing. If you hold the control key while doing this, the timeline will scroll up and down, and if you hold the shift key while doing this, the timeline will move left and right, which is obviously a lot quicker than using these bars on the bottom and on the right here. Then the control Z to undo, control Y to redo, control C to copy, control X to cut, control V to paste work as per usual. And if you want to copy a clip quickly, you can just hold down the control key on your keyboard and then hold down the mouse button on any clip and drag it to another point. Then when you let go of the clip, a copy will be dropped there. I also use the M key a fair bit to add markers on big projects so I don't get lost. And you can right click on these markers and rename them to whatever you want. And I also, the control S keyboard shortcut obviously is the one that you should use the most, which of course saves your project. I'm constantly mashing the control S keys to make sure everything is constantly saved, and you should definitely be doing the same thing. The other one I use a lot that you may not be aware of is if you hold the control key and click on the edge of any clip on your timeline and then drag the mouse cursor left, this will squash your clip by speeding it up to fit the whole thing into this much shorter clip like so. Or if you drag the cursor to the right, then it will stretch out your clip by slowing it down. And this includes the audio if there is any, like this. This is particularly good to line your shots up with the beats of music. For example, if I import a song into our project using the import media button and then drag it on down to our timeline, I can pick a point on my clip where I can see the audio spike, aka the peak, which is my shot being fired. Then I can line that up with the peaks in my song's audio. Then I can put a cut just after that in my game clip, hold control on my keyboard and drag the end of the clip left or right to line up my next shot, which you can see by the peak in the audio here with the peak in my music's audio clip, which you can see here. Then when I play the clip back, my shots will line up with my song's beats, which is pretty cool, right? So now let's talk about structure. The structure of a video will vary depending on what type of video it is, but for all of my tutorials, I follow this format. First, there will be an overview of my video, which I like to keep under a minute where possible. This lets people know what they can expect to see in the rest of the video. If you're making a montage style video though, you would generally skip this bit and cut straight into the next bit, which is your intro. The intro can be a series of graphics or text and music that you created that will usually be the same on each video. These graphics, text, and music will usually showcase your brand and your logo. In the intro, it's a good idea to have what we call a call to action. For example, a subscribe button that calls people to the action of subscribing to your channel. So you can add the picture of the subscribe button in the editing stage, and then later when we're uploading to YouTube, you can add the clickable link to that subscribe button. Then after the intro would be the main video, so your montage or the guts of your tutorial, for example. When I am making tutorial videos, I type out a script which has what I'm going to say during the video, and I record my voice using the OBS software, or more commonly for me, Ableton Live. Then I drop that audio onto my timeline in my project and just start layering videos, graphics, and text to line up with what I'm saying. Then at the end of the video, I'll have an outro, which again is going to have a call to action, i.e. the subscribe button, and also thanks people for watching. Because at the end of the day, I appreciate every single view, as I know that it's someone's time that they've taken out of their day to watch my video. And that's basically how I structure my videos. Now I'll show you some tips that will really add some professional polish to your video. One is adding thumbnails to your video that link to more of your videos which are relevant to the current video that you're making. You would have seen at the start of this video where I showed all 6 videos in the series. So this is done by importing a piece of media that you're going to use for your thumbnail and resizing it and moving it within your video frame. This, by the way, doesn't actually have to be a video. It can be a picture or whatever you want to use. So if we import a clip into the project and then drop it on down onto the timeline, we can expand the clip a little and we'll see 2 little icons. We'll get to this one here in a bit, but for now, click on this little icon here, which is our event pan/crop. This will open a window which we can then drag to where we want, and in this window we can resize and reposition our object. In this case, the object is our video. So I can use the mouse wheel to zoom in and out on this window, and if I click and hold on one of these little corners, I can drag out or in, and this will change the size of this object in our video, which you will see change in real time in the preview window. You can also right click this window for a few other options like restore or center, which would do as you expect. And down the bottom here, you can use keyframes to create animations. So if I have this object positioned here, then I drag this slider forward in time along the little timeline at the bottom, let's say 5 seconds. And then I click this little plus icon over here to add a keyframe. If I now move the video to another location, this will tell Sony Vegas that over this 5 seconds, I want my object to move from here to here. And if we close down this window and go to the start of that clip on the timeline and hit play, you'll see that over 5 seconds, our object moves between the 2 points we told it to in the event pan crop window. Pretty cool, huh? Also, it's worth noting here that if I have a picture imported into my project, like say this one, and I drag it to my timeline and open up the event pan crop menu, then I try to move it all the way over to the left, but I can't because there seems to be an imaginary border here in the preview window. All you have to do is hold down the control key on your keyboard and drag this out here so that when you move your picture, it won't hit the sides of the box. And you can see now that back in the preview window, our picture is all the way over to the left. Also, if you want to import and position your webcam on your daily vlog style gameplay or let's play clips, you would use the same event pan crop window to move the webcam to where you want it. Simple, yeah? Then adding text to a video is something else that I do a lot. And this can be done one of 3 ways. One way is to create a video track above your clips by right-clicking on the top track and choosing Insert Video Track. Or you can use the keyboard shortcut, which is Control-Shift-Q. Then right-click in the timeline and choose Insert Text Media and edit your text that way. Another way to add text is to come over to this Media Generators tab, and if you expand the All menu, you can create text using the ProType Titler by dragging that option down onto your timeline. This is the one that I use most, as you can get professional text really fast. Or finally, if you want some insane text that Sony Vegas just can't pull off, you can create the text in Photoshop. The way I do this is I will click on the timeline where I want to add my text, then come up here to this little Save Snapshot to File button, which essentially takes a screenshot of whatever is in this preview window. Bearing in mind that whatever quality you have your preview window set to will be the same quality that the screenshot saves as. Then I'd take that screenshot, drop it into Photoshop so I can better gauge the color and size of my text against the video I'm overlaying it on, and then design my text on top of that. Once I'm done, I'll save that text as a PNG with a transparent background, and then import that file which contains my new text into Sony Vegas like you would any other, and drop it onto your timeline. So once I have my clips all edited and laid out how I want them with all the text and graphics added, I like to add an overlay. So for my overlay, I use a PNG overlay I created in Photoshop, which has all my branding and links to social media and even my gamer tag on it. So just put this on the very top track and it will always be visible where you need it. I will have a video up soon which will show you how to create your own overlay, and once it's up, you can click the link on screen now and it will take you to that video. In regards to background music, I wanted to mention here that if you are using background music, don't have it too loud if you are doing voiceovers for tutorials. I've seen so many videos on YouTube where the music is almost louder than the person talking. and you can't hear them saying a thing. Just don't do that. It makes videos really difficult to watch. At this point, we need to do one thing that is critical on any video, and that is to disable resampling on all the clips on our video. We do this by selecting every part of video on our timeline, then right-clicking, going to switches, and then choosing disable resample. This will drastically improve the quality of our videos. Having resample enabled on clips that have been stretched out for a slow motion effect can be beneficial in some cases, but I'd recommend that you just disable resampling on all your clips, and the end result will be a lot better for it. Now I want to show you two final tweaks before I show you the best render settings to use. First, play your video and make sure this meter down here isn't causing your master audio output meter to constantly give you red numbers here. If it is, your audio isn't going to sound 100%. So to sort this out correctly, either rebalance the individual volumes of the clips on your timeline using these sliders here, or whatever number is shown in the red here, reduce the master volume slider by that amount, which will be displayed down here. Alternatively, you can put a limiter on the master channel like Tone Booster's Barricade, which is free, or a paid version like Wave's L2 limiter. Using these, you can leave your volumes up reasonably loud and the limiters will stop the audio from clipping into the red. Doing this is outside the scope of this tutorial though, and I would recommend you Google how limiters work and how to use them. For now, I would say use your volume sliders, and if you see the very occasional red number up to about 2 or 3 dB, then it's probably not the end of the world. Then one last tweak I like to use is a little color saturation in our video, which makes our game clips colors pop out a little more. So you can do this on each individual clip by clicking on the event effects icon, which is next to the event pan crop icon we were using earlier, on each individual clip. Or if you have all of your game clips on one track like these, then you can come over to the left here and choose the track effects icon to add an effect to every clip on that track in one go. So in this menu, double click on Sony Saturation Adjust and click OK, and this will add the color saturation effect. So you can see all the effects I have up the top here, and if you want to toggle them on and off, you can just use the little tick boxes. Or if you want to delete that effect, click on it, then come over to the right here and choose this remove selected plugin icon. But as we want to add some color saturation to the clips on our track, click this preset drop down menu and choose boost midtones. This will now make the colors pop a little more. Experiment to see if you like this effect or not, but I know that a lot of people use it and it comes out good, so don't be shy. And finally, once we are ready to export our finished video, click and drag along the timeline, making sure that all your media is highlighted. Go up to File and choose Render As. Come down to Main Concept AVC/AAC, where you can see in the brackets it says .mp4 and .avc, and expand this by clicking the triangle here on the left. Go down to Internet HD 1080p and click on Customize Template. Here you'll see a couple of tabs. Here on the Video tab, copy the settings you see here, and then once you've done that, go over to the Audio tab and do the same. Then come back to the Video tab and click in this template box and give our template a name. For example, custom 1080p 40 megabytes per second, and click the little save icon here on the right. Then click OK to close that menu. Now you will see the template you just saved in this list. Click to put a little gold star next to it so you can see it easier in the future, and then tick the render loop region only box down the bottom so that Sony Vegas just renders the video that we have selected in our timeline, and not any blank space that may be at the start or end of our video. You can use this browse button to pick a location where you want your video to be saved to, and then give your video a name and hit save. Once you've done all that, go down here and click the render button, and your video will now start to render a high quality MP4 file ready to be uploaded to YouTube. So now you know the best render settings and techniques to use in Sony Vegas to get a really high quality edit. In the next video, I'll show you how to upload your video to YouTube using the best settings, descriptions and titles you need to rank your video as high as the content will take it, and a link will pop up in a second to take you directly to that video. So on that note, don't forget to smash the like button and comment below, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace. Thanks for watching today's video. Just remember you can follow me on Twitter at facepalm with a 1, not an L. As for here on YouTube, if you like what you find, then like, comment and subscribe, but don't forget to bring your game face. Facepalm out.